In this video, we'll be taking a look at 2 college football games happening on November 18, 2022, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 2 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. South Florida versus Tulsa. The South Florida Bulls will travel to Tulsa in American Athletic Conference action on Friday night. The Bulls come into this game in the midst of an 8-game losing streak and winless in the conference. Tulsa, meanwhile, is 3-7 overall and just 1-5 in conference play. They come in with 3 straight defeats. Something has to give on Friday night, with one team emerging with a win and an ended losing streak. The South Florida Bulls haven't won a road game since October 2019. Jerry Bohannon is completing 56.9% of his passes for 1,070 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Xavier Weaver and Jimmy Horn Jr. combined for 1,177 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns, while Amarian Dollison has 9 receptions. The South Florida Bulls' ground game is averaging 183.2 yards per contest, and Brian Batty leads the way with 873 yards and 6 touchdowns. Defensively, South Florida is allowing 40 points and 508.5 yards per game. Dwayne Boyles leads the South Florida Bulls with 90 tackles. Jason Vaughn has 5 sacks, and Amaris Brown has 2 interceptions. The Tulsa Golden Hurricane have lost 3 straight home games. Davis Brin is completing 59.2% of his passes for 2,138 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Keelan Stokes and Juan Carlos Santana have combined for 1,694 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns, while Malachi Jones has 32 receptions. The Tulsa Golden Hurricane ground game is averaging 128.8 yards per contest, and Deneric Prince leads the way with 469 yards and 3 touchdowns. Defensively, Tulsa is allowing 32.5 points and 397.3 yards per game. Bryson Powers leads the Tulsa Golden Hurricane with 85 tackles. Joseph Anderson has 3.5 sacks, and Justin Wright has 2 interceptions. South Florida is 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games as a road underdog. The under is 5-0-1 in South Florida's last 6 games on field turf. The over is 3-0-1 in Tulsa's last 4 games after allowing less than 100 yards rushing in their previous game. The Golden Hurricane are 0-5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games following a straight-up loss. South Florida travels to Tulsa, Oklahoma on Friday night for its last road game of the regular season. With their most recent loss to SMU, the Bulls are now 1-9 overall and have yet to beat an FBS opponent. Furthermore, they have lost 8 straight games, with a vast majority of them coming by double digits. Tulsa has not been much better, as the Golden Hurricane lost 6 of their last 7 games after a 2-1 start to the season. Their most recent defeat came at the hands of the Memphis Tigers, who held the Hurricane to just 10 points and 207 total yards. The South Florida offense has been centered around running back Brian Batty lately, as he had 61 total touches over the last 3 weeks with over 100 yards in each of those games. He averages 6.4 yards per carry on the season, and while he may have just 137 attempts, he has forced 36 missed tackles, which is just 1 shy of highly regarded running backs like Kansas State's Deuce Vaughn and Syracuse's Sean Tucker. This is a great matchup for him, considering Tulsa ranks outside the top 75 in run defense and tackling per PFF, surrendering 4.77 yards per opposing rush attempt and 211.6 rushing yards per game. The Bulls are not a great defensive team, but Tulsa's offense has scored just 23 combined points and gained just 464 total yards in its last 2 games. South Florida isn't good, but they are getting disrespected with this number. This Tulsa offense has struggled coming into this game, including the last game where they only scored 10 points. It is hard to justify laying double digits with Tulsa, even in what is considered to be a good matchup for the offense on paper. Expect USF to keep using Batty, and for the Bulls to maintain possession long enough to finish inside the number. Look for Tulsa to also struggle to score again, and that will be enough for South Florida to keep this game close. So the South Florida Bulls to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Friday night will be cold but clear, so weather will not be an issue. These are two teams with average scoring offenses and terrible defenses. Don't forget that both teams are among the 30 worst in the country in terms of turnover differential. Both teams should be able to move the ball in various ways. Tulsa will move the ball through the air, while USF will move the ball through the ground, keeping the clock ticking. Neither one of these defenses have been able to stop opponents with any sort of consistency. In fact, both teams rank in the bottom 20 in scoring while allowing over 32 points per game. Betting an over in a game between two weak defenses like these is typically a sound strategy, but neither offense possesses a threat of consistent scoring. The Bulls and the Golden Hurricane both rank outside the top 75 in touchdown rate and score less than 29 points per game. Furthermore, neither passing attack is reliable as they both rank outside of the top 60 in PFF's passing metric. USF and Tulsa both seem to operate much more effectively on the ground than through the air, as both offenses rank in the top 20 in expected points added per rush and top 40 in rushing success rate. Look for each coach to try to establish the rushing attack in what is a winnable game for both programs, keeping the clock moving for the majority of the contest. For good reason, this line has dropped 2 points from its opening number. While the odds favor the over with two bad defenses, neither offense is particularly dangerous. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. San Diego State versus New Mexico. San Diego State has won 2 in a row and 4 of their last 5 games, and they became bowl eligible with a win in their last game. They are 6-4 and 4-2 in Mountain West Conference play, where they are in second place, a game back of Fresno State, who was their only loss to in the last 5 games. New Mexico is mired in a 7-game losing streak, and they are on the dreaded bottom 10 list at ESPN. They only have 2 wins, are winless in conference play, and of their 2 wins, only one was facing a Division I team. No wonder they are a big home underdog. The San Diego State Aztecs are 6-4 this season after they defeated San Jose State by a score of 43-27 in their last game. San Diego State outgained San Jose State by a total of 425-223 and forced 1 turnover in the win. The San Diego State offense is averaging 22 points per game with 158.1 passing yards per game and 163.4 rushing yards per game. Jalen Maiden has thrown for 1,253 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions for the Aztecs this season. Jordan Byatt has rushed for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Tyrell Shavers has caught 30 passes for 477 yards and 3 scores for San Diego State. The San Diego State defense is giving up 22 points per game and 353.1 yards per game. The New Mexico Lobos are 2-8 this season after they lost to Air Force by a score of 35-3 in their last game. New Mexico was outgained by a total of 470-172 and went 4-4 on 4th down attempts in the win. The New Mexico offense is averaging 15 points per game with 108.5 passing yards per game and 131 rushing yards per game. Justin Halliday has thrown for 222 yards and 1 interception, while also rushing for 135 yards and 1 touchdown for the Lobos this season. Nathaniel Jones has rushed for 466 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Jordan Porter has caught 19 passes for 303 yards and 2 scores for New Mexico. The New Mexico defense is allowing 26 points per game and 357.2 yards per game. The Aztecs are 2-5-1 against the spread in their last 8 in November and 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 Friday games. San Diego State is 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 after an against the spread win. Meanwhile, the Lobos are 17-35-1 against the spread in their last 53 conference games and 15-35-1 against the spread in their last 51 on grass. New Mexico is 16-41-1 against the spread in their last 58 overall, while UNL has covered the spread in 6 of their last 7 home games facing San Diego State. Do not look for that trend to continue. The Lobos are the lowest scoring team in the nation, and they were blown out in their last game where they gave up 470 rushing yards. The Aztecs are a run-first team but have aired it out more in the last 3 games, but will hit the ground hard in this game facing a pretty bad New Mexico run defense. San Diego State and New Mexico are 2 of the lowest scoring teams in the country, but for 2 very different reasons. San Diego State averages 22 points per game with a solid running game and defense. They control the clock and keep teams off the field. New Mexico averages 15 points per game because their offense is not good enough to score points. They only average 239 yards of total offense. San Diego State doesn't have to worry about keeping New Mexico off the field because the Lobos aren't really a threat on the field. They only average 8 points per game in their last 4 games. San Diego State could easily shut out New Mexico. New Mexico has been one of the worst teams in the country and still does not have a conference win this year. And Diego State played great in their last game and is tied for second in their side of the Mountain West Conference standings. New Mexico doesn't have a ton of offensive firepower, and because of that, it's going to be tough for them to keep pace. So the San Diego State Aztecs to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. This is a low total, but it's on par with what these teams have been seeing all season. The Lobos' offense has hit double digits just once in its last 4 showings. I wouldn't be surprised if the Aztecs shut down the Lobos. The Lobos' passing defense has done a decent job thus far, but you cannot feel comfortable with this current total. San Diego State has hit the under in 6 of their last 9 games. The total has gone under in 6 of New Mexico's last 8 games against San Diego State. As I already mentioned, this Aztec defense is good. New Mexico already struggles to put points on the board, and San Diego State is known for keeping your team off the field and suffocating the opponent's offense. New Mexico might remain scoreless this entire game. San Diego State only averages 22 points, and they are going up against a New Mexico defense that is also only allowing 22 points per game. This game has a low total, but that won't stop it from being a low-scoring affair. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.